Hey, good morning. Mario Visson here, Group 7. Okay, man, the world of AI is on fire. And I got to tell you, man, I've been really enjoying, digging into this. I first started using ChatGPT like a lot of you have, and then I progressed over to Claude. And I think I tried Manus, may have dabbled with DeepSeek. And each one of these platforms has their specialty and they operate differently. And I've listened to some videos and how AI actually works. I watched a video of some really smart people giving from I think it was MIT. They were professors, and it was a course on the algorithm of how AI works. These probabilities. How it can actually communicate with you. And so it seems like it's all mathematics. So, all of this complex thing, I just, I'm a person that likes detail, likes to know what's behind the curtain. And so once I dove into, just a tiny little bit of how it really works, it's pretty phenomenal how you could ask a question. Like, let's just ask a question. I have my chief of staff here. I'm going to ask my chief of staff a question. Chief of Staff, I'd like to create a video and create a website with that video, put some headlines, and then write some offers, and then drive some traffic. After I've created the website, to can you give me an idea of how to approach all that? Okay, let's see. Okay, so let's. So it's thinking here. 7 seconds. Boy, this is a lot different than the olden days. We used to go business to business and sell advertising and help small business owners, and we'd have to come up with some ideas, some concepts, go back to the office, do some renderings, lay out the ad, do a sample, and then come back, get a proof. All for like $75. What an effort! Or if the ad was a real tiny ad. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look. Let's just read a little bit about it. Let's see. Here's how I'd think about the sequence, Mario. These pieces build on each other, and the order matters. The order of operations. The video comes first, and it's not a video in the casual sense. It's a VSL. Video sales letter. Wow, this is really smart. The conversion engine that does the selling while you sleep. For Group 7, that means a long-form story-driven VSL, video sales letter, built around your epiphany bridge. Your own transformation story is the asset here, not a polished brand piece. The three audiences in your big vision doc each need a different VSL, so the very first decision is which one we're building for first. The website is a sales funnel page that hosts the video sales letter, the VSL, captures the opt-in for application, and follows up automatically. The sales funnel handles the page, the order form, the upsell, and the email follow-up. One platform, one bill. Your Group 7 Big Vision doc, which is highlighted, it's linked in here. I've uploaded that previous. It pulled that out. And the Group 7 Business Finance landing page copy already cover most of the messaging. Wow, it's already done that research for me. We can lift headlines and offer language straight from those. The headlines are the hook that gets someone to press play. We'll write 10 to 15 of them using the Hooks frameworks, then split test the top 3 on the page. Same headline family extends to email subject lines, YouTube titles, and ad copy later. the offers ladder, a free entry, the Each One Teach One experience, or a chapter preview, a low ticket or application, the co-founder territory at the top. Mario's value stack is the right framework here. Every element gets a perceived dollar value that adds up to 10x the actual price. Traffic is where most people skip ahead and wonder why nothing converts. The order: your dream 100 first, 50 to 100 warm audiences you personally outreach to. Then organic content from VSL, your video sales letter. Then paid once the funnel is converting at a known rate. The one decision I need from you before I start building: which of these audiences are we building this funnel for? The plateau entrepreneur fighting themselves internally? Young adults from separated parent households? Industry leaders buying co-founder territory in a city chapter? Each one has a completely different hook, VSL angle offer, and traffic source. Pick the one and I'll build the script, page, and offer stack around it. A few quick references. Your existing landing page, copy, doc gives us a head start on the page itself. The big vision strategy, in bold, it's a link, is the master framework this should ladder into. Okay. For the co-founder territory offer audience, an application funnel typically outperforms a direct sale VSL. At the price point you're talking about, worth considering. Which audience do you want to start with? So this is pretty amazing, because I just given, and actually I spoke into my Group 7 Chief of Staff here, and just had a couple quick sentences, and it did some incredible research. So I've gone in and populated some pages, uploaded some documents that I've written in the past, and it's pulling from this. So this is pretty impressive. I'm gonna get started on this because it looks like my Chief of Staff has a lot for me to do today. But it's in collaboration, which is incredible. Collaboration is really the key to everything. Now, I'm collaborating with a machine. So, and now AI, I watch videos, I look at a lot of things, and I was somebody that I really like is Sandeep Swadia. I've been watching, he's the AI monk, and he's been sharing a lot of his experiences as a CEO and advisor and COO and to billion-dollar tech companies. And man, I really like this guy. He's really he really loves the human race, and he wants to help, and he really understands how you get your AI to perform for you. So you can't just believe everything that it tells you. You have to be you have to force it to scrutinize what it is, because it wants to please you. AI wants to please you. So you have to force it to scrutinize what it is you're thinking about. So, well, let's get to work now. That's all for now. So if you have this might be, if you're a business and you're wondering, what am I gonna do in the world of AI? How do I participate? How can I leverage this? I'm just a dentist. I don't know anything. I need help. Well, the platform here, if you're interested to know what this platform is and how you can, how you can plug this into your practice, and or if you have a product or a service, or you're a home services company, you want to plug in your marketing expert into your business, click down below and I'll share a link with you that you can go in and have a 14-day trial and check it out. I did. And there's a lot here to talk about, so I'm not going to go into all the details, but there's maybe 40 years of copywriting information. There's software, every AI platform, well, not every AI platform, but most of the AI platforms that matter are available on this dashboard, and it's your chief of staff, so it performs for you. So I'm going to be doing some videos with this. I'm going to be uploading some content, and I'm going to I'm working on a platform strategy for the home services industry, and we're going to be acquiring all the specialty categories, all the mechanical trades in one territory. We're going to be branding that Group 7 Home Services, and then we're going to be exiting that territory for 100 million. So and we're going to be doing that leveraging AI and all the tools that we have here with our platform. And if you're a business owner of any category, I've been in advertising since I was 21. I started with Adva System, and I started learning how to create ads the old traditional way, where I would lay out the ad with pencil and paper and draw boxes and write offers and bring that to our graphic designer, and then have the layout, and then take a photograph and develop the film, and then using a Hasselblad. And then we would have to go in and send the print into the graphic designer, scan it with a scanner, and then drop that into the ad. So now this is all done through AI, and so now that's what we can create videos, we can create ads, and of course. You assist in these things, and it's collaborative with your platform. So we're going to be doing I'm going to be creating some commercials, video for, we have a new brand for home services. It's called Rooftop Hero. That'll be interesting to see. Now I've tested some content and had some videos, just some, commercial platforms using just my own image, and then I gave it the script, and then it came back and gave me a video, and it was incredible. So putting a little bit more detail behind it here, we're going to think through our campaigns and launch these campaigns. We're going to be creating sales automation funnels, and we're going to be leveraging over 40 years of copywriting content that is already plugged in and baked into it. So this is 40 years of content, copywriting around advertising and what works. So to draw from that kind of a bank of knowledge, and then you tell it what you want, and it'll put, give you the steps, the how-tos, the offers, the value ladder. And I'll be talking about all of those things just to kind of give you an idea of what I'm experiencing. And we're going to be one of the reasons why I plugged into this AI platform, because I didn't build this. I thought about over the years how I can be a part of something that's on a mass level, and had these ideas around community and how we can connect people, places, and things. And there's I'm a visionary, so I've dabbled with technology and some technologists and how to put this platform together where we can connect people, places, and things. And the technology back when I was thinking about this just didn't exist. And I got quotes for like $5 million for technologists to want to build something for me. And I was like, geez, this is, I'm on this path. Of course, I picked the most complicated path to pursue. And I think it's because I really enjoy a challenge. Probably with the background that I have in marketing and advertising, I probably should have just picked something a little bit easier, like launching a product. Well, I did. I did pick an industry that was simple. I manufactured a product in the beauty industry, and that company. Looking back, this is a really good story. I'm gonna have to digress here for a minute, but I'll just give you the bullet points, and then I'll kind of maybe I'll share the story, over time, bits and pieces of it. But so I had a product. It started off with a friend of mine needing my help, and I said, I'll just help you. And so I helped him. And I had my own business, but he was a childhood friend from junior high school, and he said, Mara, I know you're into business and I need your help. So I helped him, and I said, I don't want to get involved because I didn't know his partner. I didn't really know him. Even though he was a childhood best friend. Look, I want you to be successful. I'll just help you. So I helped him, and a year had gone by, and the sales just started. Everybody started really loving the product, and they did everything that I said. And I had a door-to-door sales company. I was in my 6th year having that company, and I didn't really want to shift gears into something that I didn't know, but I would just give them advice of what I did know, because I said, look, I'm just going to help you, give you advice. I don't really know anything about the beauty industry. I'll just tell you what I think is accurate. And you try the things that I tell you, and if it works, then you don't have to pay me anything for it. I was just trying to be a good friend and help. So they did everything that I said, and everybody in the beauty industry liked their product. So they said, Mario, listen, we're having some great success with our product. We really want you to be involved. We want you to be a partner. I'm like, wow, okay, well, let's take a look at this. So I met with his partner. The three of us sat down, and they said, look, we've taken this thing as far as we can take it. We need somebody to really pump the handle, and we believe you're the right partner to take on. So I said, all right. So I agreed, and I shut down my company. I was really kind of on the tail end. I didn't want to do door-to-door sales anymore after, so I was 17 years old till then, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22. So it was about five, in my 5th, almost 6th year. And so I took this on, and I just started doing things that I believed were the way to do it. And it was a beauty application stand. So it was a when stylists put color in women's hair or men's hair, they'll use 3 or 4 colors. Well, it was a color palette. And so this palette, it would hold the bowls, the foil, the tail combs, and it was really great. So, and everybody loved it. They had a wooden prototype, and so they said, look, we got to make this thing in a way where we can replicate it. So we started going into the mold maker, and I started learning about molds, how molds are made, and then the mold maker had these different design of how it would be assembled. He had some idea. It was a bad design and how it was manufactured and assembled. I didn't know at that time, but I learned. And we had tremendous success with responsive. I was reaching out to companies all over the world, Japanese companies, and started taking big purchase orders. When the big started getting fax orders for $75,000, and that's a lot of money for any first-time order. So, skipping all the detail because it would drag on for a long time. The greed set in, and then the door was locked one day, and I was out. So that was it. So I said, you guys, I put $10,000 of my own money into this thing, just, and my time, almost 6 months of my time. So, pay me. You want to buy me out? Buy me out. Fine. This is why I didn't want to get involved in the first place, is because I didn't know you guys. So really, they agreed. And also I had a lot of my marketing books and things like that in the warehouse that I was, referencing, and they locked me out of my own, get my own things. I said, give me back all my books and drop them off here and drop off a check, and we'll be done. And I went to go get my things. They didn't, I told them to drop it off at a UPS and with a check in an envelope, and, and I'll pick it up. So that was that. And they never showed up. So I was left there with, I didn't get my books. I didn't get anything. Well, they wanted my computer. I'm like, what's my computer? You're not going to give you my computer. They were just very unreasonable and sort of ridiculous. And so they said, well, we're not going to give you back your marketing books. And I said, well, my computer is my computer. And they said, well, we want all the information off of it. And so I just couldn't believe it. Anyway, that was this type of experience is why I'm doing what I'm doing with Group 7. But later on, after about a month or two, I said, look, if you guys aren't going to pay me, then I feel like I don't owe you anything. And I certainly, this product is just as much mine as it is yours. So I'm going to be your biggest competitor. And so I did. I started my own company. I hired an industrial designer, redesigned the product. I took it from salon to salon on Ventura Boulevard in San Fernando Valley, California. I went to, and there's just tons of salons. It goes from one end it's a 10-mile valley. It went from one end to the other. Just went to all the salons. I said, here's my prototype. And because I made a prototype out of injection molded vacuum formed plastic, and I had hired, I learned a lot. And so I had this product, and I was able to manufacture it at $17.50 in a box with all the parts, and it had instructions to assemble them. I assembled all that, had designed the box, and that was a price point. And the product was being sold from $135 to $165. So the whole process of all of that, and then I had my prototypes that I made. So I vacuum formed them, assembled them, and then the final manufacturing process was that was an injection molded process. So I learned a lot about manufacturing, and then I met this manufacturer, and he was a guy who made the rock tumbler. When you're a kid, you put your rocks in there, and you put the solution in there, and it goes like this for a week and tumbles, and then they come out like polished rocks. I loved that. I loved rocks and things. So, well, I met that guy, and I saw his operation, and I saw it. But he manufactured his own product, but he also took on outside projects. So he had these CNC machines. He had introduced me to an industrial designer, and he really wanted to help me, get this thing off the ground. And I paid the industrial designer, came up with the designs, and then I came up with a name for it. It was called Salon Easel, and it was like a color easel, like when you're painting. And so it had a real sexy neck like this. It curved, and the palette was angled like this. And so when you're doing color, on somebody's a woman's hair, you have 3 or 4 different highlights that you're doing. You had all your tools right there, easily accessible, instead of these square things that the stylists use. So, anyways, that was a big hit. It was the way I had designed it was much better than what the original creator of this. He had these wood prototypes, and he had a friend that was a carpenter, so he was making them out of wood, and they were just doing the best they could. And within 6 months, I had created new designs, patented my design, set up international. First off, I used my own money to get an industrial designer, create my prototypes, create some molds with the CNC machine at the factory, the injection mold factory. And then from there, I wrote a business plan, and then I submitted my business plan to various different companies and people. And I got a call back from this one, and they were called Western Spray Painting up in Stockton, California. And they said, look, we're diversifying our business, and we're manufacturing and distributing wasn't the George Foreman grill, but it was a competitor to that. They had the NFL football helmet, it was the grill, cover, and it was the NFL. Like it would look like a Raiders helmet or a LA Rams or the Buccaneers or the Patriots, and you had all these barbecues with all these helmet-looking lids in a warehouse. He showed me it was like 100,000 square foot stacked and racked, and they were shipping these things out. It was unbelievable, and I said, "Wow, this is really an impressive operation." So I flew, because I flew up to Stockton. I was in San Fernando Valley at that time, and I flew up to Stockton, met the vice president of operations and the owner of the company, Lonnie. He was an older fellow who was retiring. Anyways, I ended up doing a deal with them, and he said, "What do you need?" And I said, "I need a $500,000 line of credit to get the company off the ground." And he said, "Okay, I'll give that to you." And the meeting was maybe 20 minutes. "I'll give that to you, but try not to use the whole 500,000. Just use as little as you can. And what do you need every single month?" And I said, "Well, I don't live, high on the hog, so 5,000 a month." And he said, "All right, can you do 3?" And I said, "Sure." So I said, "Look, what are we going to do?" And he said, let's split the company 50-50. And I said, "All right, that's a good deal. He goes, "How much money you got invested into it?" And I said, I put 20 grand into the molds, and I need to put another 20 grand in. So that would be the first, draw on the line of credit. I would finish my molds and get those done. So that was that. But looking back on all of this, I would have done things a lot differently. Knowing what I know now, I would have never taken on a partner, because I didn't realize, and I thought, well, there's this big company, and there's this old man who owns this company. They must be good people. Well, what I didn't realize is that vice president did 7 years in jail for being a cocaine dealer. And his boss he was just the VP of a company. His boss, Lonnie, I met him. He seemed like he was a really great guy. He was. He signed my contracts. And this vice president came back to me a couple of weeks later and said, "Listen, we need controlling interest." And I said, "Well, why do you need controlling interest? We're going forward. We're split at 50-50. We already signed. We're agreeing." He goes, "Well, we're not going to give you the money unless you change the contract." Already problems right from the beginning. If you have problems in the beginning of a relationship, you're going to have problems all the way down the line. So, and I didn't have money to fight him. So I said, "Look, I'll tell you what, you could have controlling interest. I don't care. But once I hit sales profitability, I want I want to go back to, 50-50. He said, "Okay." So we drafted that in a contract. And then that was the death of the company, because what that guy did is he ended up, when I set up international distribution, he fired me from my company because he was he said, "Oh, and I need to be the CEO." So I gave him controlling interest. It was really dumb, what I did. I didn't realize that I was hanging myself out to dry. And he ended up taking the company. He gave the company to his wife. And I don't know what he told Lonnie, but, they took my company. And it's what's in the industry, they call it being dehorsed from your own product. So, and then I called, after setting up all the distribution, with one relationship, Mr. B Beauty, they set up relationships all over the world because there's a million salons in the world, and they had a relationship with all of them, or know all of them. And we wrote a contract for them to be the manufacturer's representative. And from there, the company was on its way to being maybe 20 to 50 million a year in revenue. And the problem, and I went back, I flew home from that, setting up that contract, and I got a letter being fired from my own company. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, greed of the small entrepreneur, or somebody just clawing their way, to get over on people. It was just unbelievable. I couldn't believe what had happened. So I ended up, I picked up the phone. I said, Mr. B, I just got back from our meeting with your COO, Gary, and I can't believe what I'm reading here. I just been fired from my company. And so I just want you to know that I'm not going to be involved in this transaction anymore. This is from their attorney. I'm gonna have to sue them. So I just want you to know who you're dealing with. So he said, Mario, thank you very much for letting me know that. I don't think we want to do business with them. And so they lost that international distribution. They changed the design of the product, and the wife was doing trade shows, and nobody come into the booth. Where when I launched the product, by myself at the booth, 10 by 10 booth, and I had designed the booth. I did $465,000 in sales before manufacturing, and with only using $176,000 of Lonnie's line of credit from Western Spray Painting. Well, that fellow who dehorsed me for my product, he ended up stealing the pension of Western Spray Painting. People who had worked there for 30 years, and they had no pension. That guy stole it, and then he moved out of the state, and people were trying to hunt him down. I mean, they were furious. I mean, of course, you work for 30 years and you think you're going to have a pension, and then it disappears. So it's these types of experiences is the reason why I decided to build Group 7. Group 7 is a platform strategy for building thriving cities. And it really is about the relationship. It's about how people connect, right? This was the real, the driver. Well, I would say one of the drivers behind what Group 7 is today, and what it is about ready to, explode throughout cities nationwide. Connecting people, places, and things properly with the right tools and the right platform. So we're going to be developing our own app that's going to connect people, places, and things. It's going to connect you to other people like you, like-minded people that want to live, work, and play and thrive, right? So you build your mastermind group, you build your team, and you share with that tight team your vision, the things that you want to do, building a multi-diverse revenue stream of equities, and with AI, having a multi-diverse revenue stream is very possible. So whether it's, personally, I'm launching Crispy Crunchy Pizza, and Crispy Crunchy Pizza is a brand that I created. I worked out of a test kitchen. I used an oven from Italy, and a mixer from Italy, and I used a test kitchen out of Laguna Beach, California, and I'll show you some videos of that. And I crafted a product, a new pizza brand. Now I perfected my pizza dough. Now my background, I grew up in the restaurant business, so I'm a master culinary artist in the Italian cuisine. And pizza, I love pizza, and America loves pizza. The world loves pizza. It's one of the most popular foods on the planet. So we have a pizza brand. We're going to put 1,000 locations out there. So I'm crafting Crispy Crunchy Pizza, and this whole business model for launching, each pizza, each tier, not franchise, but in territories. We're going to be doing territories, not franchise. And that's designed to go, 1,000, 8,000, in 10, 20 years, 8,000 locations around the world to rival against Papa John's, because Papa John lost his seat as the brand ambassador for his own product because of because of a hiccup in the media. So he's publicly traded. So he got dehorsed from the seat of his own company. So I mean, he's worth $8 billion, but that's not a way to go out. So I'm creating, my own diverse portfolio of equities. Pizza, that's one. And then launching products. I love launching products. I really enjoyed launching the Solanizo product, but I was just with the wrong people. So that's one of the things that we'll talk about over time. Getting how do you team up? How do you build a business? So I love when I was at Advo System and I was an advertising sales executive, and I would sell advertising and design. And you give a lot of your time to the small entrepreneur to help them, design, the ads and, the offers. And so taking all that experience, I'm going to pour it into Group 7. This is, we don't have like a membership fee to join. So maybe in the future we will. So one of the things that I'm doing is I've been evaluating lots of tools out there over the years, and I found probably the best of the best. And I was pouring into creating something that was really unique, something that would connect people, places, and things, and get people involved in community, and have merchants and residents. It's something that would connect there and create this this mass adoption of technology, and trying to pursue that, not being a software expert or a technologist. And I discovered how to do that. So that's what this is going to teach you, what I've learned and the tools we have now that we can all use, and we can collaborate as you get involved, and download, and as I get better at using this platform and how it works and how we connect. So we're going to be designing our own app to connect, so you'll be able to connect with me on a regular basis. And really what we want to do is we want to give away information and share information on how to build a multi-diverse revenue stream of equities right in your own community, and leverage AI so you can amplify your performance. And in the next 10 years, there's going to be $10 trillion. Whoops. Let me say, what's going on here? Let me get this back up and running. There we go. There we go. All of a sudden, it got lazy. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So, the idea around being an entrepreneur, I mean, I've been pursuing that for a long time. I've certainly bumped my head around and made a lot of mistakes. And so I'm going to share those things with you. But as we go into a city, so I'm here in South Carolina, Gaffney, South Carolina. And I've been all over the United States, but here in South Carolina, we're going to get involved in the community. I'm going to share with you the things that I'm working on and the things that I'm doing, the tools that I'm using, how I'm going to create these equities, how we're going to raise the money. And one of the things, now we have a whole system for how to get the money. And that's a part of what business is all about. I mean, one of the first things you do in business is you go into debt. So when you go into debt, the executive has to have some type of vision strategy. Excuse me. Has to have some kind of vision strategy for where you're going. So once you have an executive, that's the first thing. You got to have a vision strategy. Then you set up your administration, and then you've got, whatever the product is that you're selling, then you got to make the sales. When you make the sales, then the money's got to go into the bank, the treasury, set up a treasury, accounting systems. When you have accounting systems and treasury and tax strategies and things like that you can leverage, then you got to produce what you sold, right? You got to produce what you sold. So production, And then you have quality control, because once you've produced what it is you're selling, you got to have some sense of quality control of what it is you're doing, right? You got to check your work, check your product, make sure it works and functions. So that's your quality control. I think I skipped one. Executive team, administration, sales, treasury, production, quality control, PR and marketing. So the PR and the marketing then drives more sales, goes into the bank, right? Treasury, and you got to produce, and then quality control and PR and marketing, and it starts all over again. That's a military org chart. I was taught that by Richard Stewart, who is another character. I'll save that story for another time. But Richard Stewart taught me that, and it kind of gave me some sense of order. Like, okay, well, I got to get good at all of these things. So when you have a business and you have all of these moving parts, later on in the years, I realized, what would be really great is if you can get together with a small group of people, a small cluster, a small mastermind, and you can work together with the same vision strategy, then you could reach these economies of scale, right? You could have savings. You don't have to have, because I learned there's ad agencies. I learned that businesses would go to an ad agency, and then the ad agency would help them with their advertising, create the media production, and then buy the radio, buy the billboard, place ads, and so then I learned there's strategy around all that. So I learned there's lots of moving parts, but if you can consolidate. When I was at Dynamedia, and I learned if you have this central group that's working on this company and this company and this company, they had clients. All the clients shared in the agency's services. And at some point in time, that brain trust of really talented people, they can't put any more hours in. That's it. So with AI now, we can work together with the brain trust and AI, and we can amplify our performance. And so when you're collectively working together and you're sharing thought and you're not greedy and you're focusing on building a multi-diverse revenue stream of equities, then you can really produce some things with a handful of people. Like Ron Popeil, one of Dynamedia's clients, that's a guy who had 400 employees doing $500 million a year in sales. He went bankrupt, and then he started all over again, took only maybe 4 executives, rebuilt the company, everybody worked out of their home, and this was before AI, and then built it up to 500 million again with 4 people. So different models, different strategies, and different ways to build business. And I love what Ron Popeil did, the pasta maker and all that. So we're Group 7, we're rebuilding I'm rebuilding what Dynamedia was, because they went out of business after 9/11. It just couldn't sustain the cash burn. The ad industry just tanked. And I had to go get a new job and figure out what I was going to do. And I said, well, advertising's in the dumper, so I might as well go learn how to do loans. So I went into a loan. I answered an ad in a paper, and I went to do loan origination. I said, earn $150,000 a year for loan origination, no license necessary. I'm like, perfect. So I answered that ad. There was 50 people lining up for the interview, and it looked familiar because that's how I used to hire my door-to-door salespeople. When I was 17, 18, 19, I figured out this formula. And when I finally get to my turn to get interviewed, I met this guy. His name was Michael Perugini, and I asked after I was leaving, I said, do you have a marketing guy? And he said, marketing, what's that? And I said, well, the guy who gets the phones to ring and gets all the business to come in. And he said, no, you got to talk to my partner Jordan about that. So I came back the next day. Jordan gave this big rah-rah speech, and this is a story. I'll save this story for another time. But anyways, that ended up being Jordan Belfort, and I'll share that story with you another time. My name is Mario Vissen, Group 7. This is just, I'm trying to get on a daily basis, do these YouTube videos, because Group 7 has been on the shelf for a long time. I've been kind of working on it, and I'm now putting this into play. And I want to share with you as an entrepreneur. And if you have a product or a service and you want to grow your business, then let's talk. Click down below. We'll get you the money you need to get started. We'll guide you along the path. What I'm looking for is people to work with. I'm looking for companies, people that have something, they're an expert in doing roofing. They're an expert in, we have a whole home services platform that we're launching. So if you're a business and you're an expert and you want to launch a business, then we'll get you the money that you need to launch the business. We'll help coach you and guide you. And then once we help you build it, then we'll buy the company. It's what we call a growth partner acquisition program. So we're going to help you build it, then we're going to buy it. And this is if we like you and if you like us, right? Because you have to like the people you work with, because this is your life. I mean, you spend a lot of time with people, working, and you might as well enjoy working with people. So I know I enjoy working with people, and we're going to help you build the business, get you the leads, get you the business, and help you recruit people and things like that. So we're going to be your guide along the way. And then at some point in time, as we prepare the company, because remember, you got to have 7 pillars of a corporation: your executive team, administration, sales, treasury, production, quality control, PR, and marketing. And once you have those, you have, just a couple of those, then we can fill in the rest, and then you can increase your revenue, you can increase your production, you could increase your quality control, right? You could increase your PR and your marketing, your advertising. And we're going to show you how to not have to pay Zuckerberg any money for getting leads. There's an organic formula, and we're going to be sharing. And there's some people that we have been following on YouTube that we really like, and they've had an entire career in home services, and then they started their consulting business. Those are the kind of people we want to bring in, and we want them to help us establish all of the specialty category team of people, all of the mechanical trade team of people that want to become part of this bigger brand that in 3 years, 5 years, we're going to exit for 100 million, and everybody share in that. And so we're crafting that. This is a community of experts. It's our expert team of teams. Now, when you have an expert team of teams, small clusters of people getting together, working towards a much larger vision strategy, you get these you get these economies of scale that you're saving in your marketing director, your copywriter, and all of these things now are being done with AI. But you're sharing in the cost of that agency. So that's a part of what this is about, right? This is one of the industries that Group 7 is focusing in, and we look at industries, because now with AI we can go into industries, and not only can we create efficiencies and more effectiveness with your campaigns and your strategies and your recruiting strategies, your hiring, your training, your production, quality control, your PR, your market, all of those details, right? Because once you have a vision strategy, and then now there's lots of things that you need to solve. We help solve all those things because we have experience in this over the years, and we want to share that with you and be a part of, and we want you to be a part of, our exit strategy. That when we work together in a small cluster, and then which is around a much bigger picture, much bigger vision strategy in the brand or in the business, and you have this connective tissue, which is our systems. The Group 7 systems is tying people together. We're the tie that binds. And when you have this growth, and now everybody's serving one another, there's a network effect that occurs. Because in the specialty trades, mechanical trades, the glue that binds, this is when the roofer is referring a plumber and the electrician is referring, somebody that needs new cement driveway, and you've got this family of people starting to come together. This is a network effect that occurs. When you start having that network effect, then there's compounding values that start showing up on a daily basis. That's optimization at its finest. And when you can do that, you have this family of people within an industry working together. And what occurs is you have this shared consciousness. So this, yes, it's a big vision and a big dream, but it's completely doable. And this is the direction in the next 10 years because of how rapid business is going to be unfolding and growing. There has to be a system that catches people and people can connect together. And that's what Group 7 is building. And if you're an expert in whatever category, home services, technology, PR, marketing, accounting, if you're an HVAC, electrical, plumbing, or whatever industry you're in, click down below and let me know. Put a video like this. Let me know who you are and if you'd like to be a part of this. Because when you have, I've witnessed Dynamedia launch Hooked on Phonics, and in 3 years they went to 300 million. And the executives at the top just blew up the company. I should say blow up because they tore it down. There was a virus that was instilled because if you blow up a company, nowadays with the younger generation, that means it's a good thing. But no, this was a bad blow up. There was some viruses in the executive team. The company's doing 300 million, and all of a sudden it goes from 300 million to 18 million. What happened? So I'll share the story another time. But right now we're moving towards this mass adoption of technology that's going to bring people together, and that's something that we're creating. If you're a technologist, if you're an architect, an engineer, and an architect of technology systems, we want to talk to you because this is something that I'm building. I'm building this with technology. There's different softwares that I'm working with. Claude, Base 44. This is a guy, Base 44 is an incredible story. A guy had mass adoption towards his AI platform and sold the company for 80 million in like 6 months. It's unbelievable. So there's gonna be a lot of wealth created, but it's through connecting and serving one another. And we have guidelines around that, how our expert team of teams comes together within these guidelines of engagement. And that's Group 7. Mario Vissen, click down below, send me an email with a little video of who you are and some of your thoughts, how you would like to get in where you fit in. This is something where we're launching an entire accounting division because we're going to be creating this shared resource network. We have experts in accounting that we're pulling together to help serve, as money flows. You want to be able to have that money flow in a way that you could track it, and you could have a spreadsheet, and you could have accountabilities, and you can also show to our investors that this is a business that performs, it's predictable, look at you, right? We're promoting you. And in Group 7, as being part of our member network, that's what we like to do. We promote one another, right? We lift one another up. And so going through all of those horrible experiences that I've had in the past is a part of, I'm weaving in. It's like there has to be a better way, right? There's people climbing over each other to get to $1. Come on. And it's just ridiculous. There's abundance of opportunities and money out there, and people operate with, they're either thriving or they're surviving. They're withholding information, they're not sharing, things of that nature. So this, I like to share. I'm a sharer. So get involved with us. Click down below, put a little video who you are. If you want to be a part of this connective tissue, this connection, we're connecting people, places, and things, and building a multi-diverse revenue stream of equities in short order. Look, there's only in 10 years, there's going to be this mass adoption. Don't get left behind. I'm putting all my energies into learning how to apply AI to building businesses. And let's get you the money you need to build your business. Click down below. We partnered with a shark from Shark Tank, original Shark Tank members, Kevin Harrington and Damon John. We're partnering with them in our business finance consulting division of Group 7, so that way we can get you the money you need, and we want to show you how to perform. So you check in and you say, okay, what do I got to do next? And I say, well, this is what you got to do next. And for now, I can be your chief of staff, help you with those answers, and then I'll show you how to ask your chief of staff to give you those answers. And that way it's educating you, and you're checking in with me, you're checking in with your chief of staff, and all the information is there, and we're showing you how, and you're growing and you're learning the 7 pillars of a corporation, how to, if you're really good at 1 or 2 of those and we can fill in the rest around you, then you're on your way to having a multi-diverse revenue stream of equities. And if you'd like to learn more about this, if you're an investor and you want to learn more about the larger vision strategy of Group 7, because we're building thriving cities through housing, entrepreneurship, higher education, then click down below. I mean, this is a much bigger talk. This is an economic reengineering conversation that we'd love to have with you. We're launching the most sustainable community program in the nation. That's Group 7. And we want to help people get in where they fit in to that vision strategy. It's a large vision strategy, but we're all the way down to, if you have a new business, we can help you out. If you want to talk about if you're an investor and you want to talk about the sustainability program that we're launching chapters of Group 7 in cities. If you want to reserve your chapter or you want to claim your territory for launching your Group 7 chapter, then give me a ring. I'd love to hear from you. Mario Vissen, Group 7. You can reach me at mario@group7.com. Click down below, put a little video, or send me a quick email. And if you have questions, I'll shoot them right back to you as quickly as I can. You can go to group7.com. I'm putting up a new website with this information on there. Or you can go to mariovissen.com, read a little bit more about my bio. But mario@group7.com. Click down below, send me an email, upload a little video, who you are, what you want to do, and we'll talk soon. Talk to you later. Mario Vissen here. Take care.